Do you know the spiritual guidance every black individual needs today in this complex universe? If you ask a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Buddhist, a politician, an atheist, a scientist, all of them will guide you to an idol, for they all bow down to idols. Let's look at this complex matter by engaging with Bantu Melanin University via our emails that we are showing here, where we learn inherent Afro-Salvation mystic power and the way we can navigate such issues and topics with smartness, cleverness, and with ultimate success when we leave this planet. Because there are 7 guidelines and the foundational guideposts that every melanin dominant human being must be aware of. The first one has to do with the Unknowable Real Creator. The second one, the Hazim, Omkaha or Gaha. The third one, the waters of Nyunyu. The fourth one, the primordial gods. The fifth one, the ancestors. The sixth one, the universe. Seventh one, identity and the nature. And these are the 7 pillars of wisdom. The clearest effect of knowing all these is that all the power of black spirituality is inherently inside you. And these guidelines are theoretical as well as physical principles that will eventually be verified today by quantum science and quantum physics. When we say that the Unknowable Real Creator has nothing to do with us, it's clear that our ancestors taught and told the missionaries that the remote high God is what they called the one who goes beyond the chasm. They had to use the term God for missionaries and others to understand our African spirituality, black spirituality. If the remote unknowable real creator, who is nameless, who is beyond knowledge, has nothing to do with us, what's the point, what's the purpose of studying and learning about this? Because there are many practical guidelines which we are showing here that runs into hundreds of differing spiritual practices: ancestor veneration, libation rituals, divination, spiritual possession, mediumship, sacred drumming and dance, ritual chanting and songs, initiation rites, healing with herbs and sacred plants, animal sacrifices, sacred kingship and priesthood, worship of deities, reverence for sacred sites, mountains, rivers, trees, creation and cosmology myths, use of masks and ritual costumes, fetish and power object rituals, communal festivals and seasonal ceremonies, totemism, dream interpretation, protection charms and amulets, sacred storytelling and oral traditions, ancestor shrines and household altars, sacred dances, ngoma, bira, etc., naming ceremonies and post-death spiritual activities and rituals, offerings of food, drink and gifts, many others. These are practical guidelines. How do we know that they are effective and powerful? We must learn how to create altars and how to pour libation and do all these things. These are the guidelines we are talking about. They are theoretical and physical aspects in each of these and the plethora of them. We shall show you some of them later on. So we started by asking, what's the point of knowing that the real creator is beyond our knowledge and beyond our capacity to know? Why do we teach that? Because to free humanity from false gods made in our own image, so we can finally stop projecting, fearing, worshipping and arguing over illusions, we must know that the real creator is nameless. Any religion that is a creator with a name is a false religion, is an idolatrous religion. So that alone clears us of everything. When we awaken to the radical unknowability of the real unknowable creator, we are liberated from the prison of belief systems that claim ownership over truth. We do not speak of the unknowable to define it. We speak of it to end the tyranny of pretended knowledge by Muslims, by Christians, by Jews, by everybody else other than our melanin dominant spirituality that never preached to anybody or tried to convert anyone. This is the ultimate truth. This is the unshakable foundation upon which all our spiritual guidance every black individual needs today rely on. So we start with the chasm, which is the pivotal knowledge that separates the unknowable real creator from us. The chasm is beyond the universe. So when they speak of the universe and parallel universes, they are still trapped within a knowledge system. The waters of Unyunyu, before form, before time, before space, is only potential. Our ancestors taught us that. Quantum physics and quantum theory has proved that through the reality that observation collapses a wave function. Particles exist in a state of superposition, and they are not things but probabilities. These particles are virtual particles. They don't exist per se. There is a pre-physical field of infinite possibilities, which our ancestors taught as the waters of Unyunyu, Masai Sai, Enyunyu, are the activities out of which creation would come and emerge. Quantum theory, before observation collapses a wave function. That is powerful. That is a spiritual guidance that will lead us to know that from this force field of space, time, and matter, the mind can arise and possibilities may be put into effect and creation. Then out of the waters of Unyunyu, the primordial gods self-generated. And these primordial gods never became spirits or beings. They are divine principles that gives this universe the reality that we can detect with our own senses. We go to number 5. The ancestors' memory is held in code and culture. It's nature and identity. All other religions teach you not to worship your ancestors. They teach a fallacy, because the ancestors live in us, not as spirits, but as echoes, which we must listen to intently and intensively. We have to feel the nudging of the ancestors so that we can be crowned by the gods. Our ancestors shaped us, not through divine intercession, but through genetic inheritance, through inheriting trauma, success, resilience, instincts that were passed to us through the DNA and through the bloodline and through the totems. Our cultural transmission has given us the power of beliefs, rituals, taboos, and all the totems that we have encoded in language and tradition, and the rituals that we practice theoretically and practically. So when we say you are nudged by the ancestors and crowned by the gods, these are great principles that we are uttering here, because then you will be able to say, I was not born by accident. I was called by voices older than time, summoned by those who walked before me, and when I answered, the heavens moved. The crown was placed on my head, not by men, not by titles, but by the very forces that shape purpose. I was born not in sin. I was born clean without original sin. That's the truth. That's a guiding principle. Ancestral guiding principle agenda also teaches us and demonstrates to us that as individuals, we have a body. And that within that body is a spark or soul, intongo, which is commonly interpreted as the divine spark of that comes to you with effect and power of tribe through totems. Hence we say there is not even one black person who is totemless. Anyone who goes around thinking that they are totemless, they are lost, they are blind, they are dead while they are walking. Because spiritual guidance every black individual needs today brings all the answers from the ancestral realms via Itongo, via the rail of the totems, the two totems that brings you that and bridges that gulf. So, ancestral guidelines tell us that after death, the soul, in-laws, hovers for a space near the body, and it departs to a place called Esilweni via trials and tribulations through the Duat. Without ancestral guidelines, our souls may be stolen, deceived, or trapped after death, or even enter into the body of beasts. In Esilweni, the soul assumes a shape, part beast, part human. This could be its final shape. Was it not for our earthly nature that it dominated us? The afterlife choices would cause us to become beastly and end there, and do not switch over the spark to something higher, of which the ordinary persons know very little, if ever they have never learned it. Through ancestral veneration, they will not make it into an aku state. The physical body, umzimba, and the etheric body, isthunzi, they are the medium through which the lower mind functions. And because of ancestral guidelines, you will know what you eat. You know how to deal with ububi, is fat. You know also how to interact with maati and how to balance the equation of isfet versus maati, which must be greater than the other. At what occasion? This is where our ancestors missed when they used Ubuntu and Maati as they met the enslaver and the colonizer and loved them, instead of fighting and destroying them using the powers that were in the guidelines that they were given by their ancestors previously who guarded the red line. These require theoretic and physical guidelines. Umzimba, the etheric body stones, although they are the medium for the lower mind functions, amandla must be balanced by being able to know that they can manifest as passions, emotions, instincts, anger, and violence. Therefore, what spiritual guidance does every black person needs today to deal with istunzi amandla? Therefore, what spiritual guidance does every black person needs today to deal with amandla and istunzi, as well as the forces that are all over the earth? In our book, in the book Free From God, which we recommend that you read and study on, almost every force that we have discussed so far in this video and the guiding principles have been comprehensively unveiled. You will find a couple of theoretical and practical principles that will nurture or nurture profoundly your soul, because your soul signature will pick that which is its own from that list, because they all came to us through genetics and bloodline and through totems, as I have already indicated, and they have now been verified by quantum physics. Grab your copy today and start your journey and see where you fit, because through culture we know that if you have found something beyond the physical, death is not an issue. If all you know is only physical, then it is a big issue, because it is the end of everything that you know. The waters of Nunu or the quantum 0 point energy is the one that gave birth to the cosmic evolution, to time, to physical issues, to biology, to culture, and the origin of the Milky Way, the origin of the sun, the earth, the origin of life, the origin of humans. That all is within you, because you came out of the waters of Nunu. They say the waters have broken when you were being born, and the guidelines will help you how to master all this. Now, to access more of this, you can enroll into our Bantu Melanin University. You can also do that by going to our website, marfado.com, and also use our emails that we also show here, as well as in the descriptions. Till we meet again, remember, if you know you have been nourished by ancestors, you must also realize that you have been crowned by the gods. And the Marfado Family Network is one and your only spiritual home. Therefore, you need to support your spiritual home, to like the videos, to share, to comment, and to contribute as you look forward for more. Thank you. Your High Manager to Preacher Rabbi LM to Mrs. Kunikadi Jakanja says there is more to this topic than what we have shared here. So remember, you have been nourished by the ancestors and crowned by the gods for the year 6262 that is beyond the corner on the 23rd of September 2025. Amen.